verbes pronominaux, and more precisely, les verbes pronominaux réciproques. Okay, so we saw previously, or in the previous video, les verbes pronominaux réfléchis, and in this video, we'll see les verbes pronominaux réciproques. Okay, so let's start now. And well, the good question that we could ask is, what are les verbes pronominaux réciproques? So let's see. And the first thing that you should keep in mind is that you will need two persons. So la personne numéro un, and then la personne numéro deux. Okay, and the concept is that la personne numéro un will do something that will affect la personne numéro deux, and la personne numéro deux will do something that will affect la personne numéro un. Okay, and this is what we call les verbes pronominaux réciproques. Let's see an example, and one good example will be se parler. Okay, so when you get the sentence or the subject and here the verbs ils se parlent, okay, in that case it's quite clear. They speak to each other. If you want to translate that directly, this is the concept. So they speak or they talk to each other. And this is exactly the main concept of les verbes pronominaux réciproques. So, la personne numéro un parle à la personne numéro deux. La personne numéro deux parle à la personne numéro un. So, this cycle, okay, will actually symbolize in a way this concept of les verbes pronominaux réciproques. Okay? So, as we have two persons, la personne numéro 1 et la personne numéro 2, it means that le sujet est au pluriel. Okay, so the subject will need to be at the plural form, of course. Like we have here, ils se parlent. If you look, the subject is il and it's the plural form. Be careful because in some cases, well, let's say that it will be difficult in some cases to really understand. So, utilisation et compréhension parfois difficile. So, I will give you a good example here. You've got this thing. Il s'admire, okay? S'admirer, it's to admire. So, il s'admire. So, of course, you get the plural form and then it's verb pronominal. So, probably you could think that it's a verb pronominal réciproque in this example. But actually, it is possible to have, of course, two persons. Okay, because we've got the plural. But in this situation, it would be also possible that the first and the second person, they admire only themselves. Okay, so it's actually not, as we saw previously, you know, they admire each other, but it could mean in that sense, it could mean that they admire themselves. And in this case, well, this il s'admire would be considered as a verb pronominal réfléchi. Okay, but then of course the same sentence can mean, as we saw previously, this concept of verb pronominaux réciproques. So, la personne numéro 1 admire la personne numéro 2, and then la personne numéro 2 admire la personne numéro 1. And in that case, of course, the meaning would be verb pronominal réciproque, so they admire each other. Okay, so it is tricky in some cases. Normally, it doesn't come like that. So normally you've got a context, and normally you tend to understand quite fast and quite well if it is verb pronominal réfléchi or verb pronominal réciproque. Okay, so but if it comes just like that without anything before or anything after, well, it can be tricky because, as we saw, it can mean two different things. Okay, be careful when we make the passé composé form, because of course, as we are using être here, okay, we will have to put at the end, well, whether the feminine or the plural. So when you get ils se sont regardés, so in this case you will have to add this final s at the end because it's the plural. And then if you get the feminine form, elles se sont regardées, then you will get e for the feminine and then s for the plural form. Remember that we don't pronounce them, so you will get phonetically regarder, and then here the same form, regarder. Okay, so you don't pronounce anything after your E, but still you should write them if you want to write correctly. Okay, so masculin pluriel and then féminin pluriel.